I'm Monica Breckenridge, owner of Pink Realty, and today we're going to talk about the cost to sell your house. So right now you should expect to pay approximately 10% of the sales price with the costs associated with selling your house. And I'm going to go over all those fees with you. Between $3,500 to $6,000 is the average for buyers' closing costs. Right now, buyers are asking for their closing costs to be paid in this market. When markets are really hot and you've got multiple offers in those situations, then it's more acceptable for the buyers to pay their closing costs. But right now, with offers here and there, sellers are paying the closing costs, and if the seller doesn't pay the closing costs, that is up to negotiation. However, if a buyer is really stuck on having their closing costs paid, it could mean losing a deal, so keep that in mind. The closing costs is going to be, that buyer's closing cost is going to be the fee for their lender, for the buyer's lender, and $3,500 is about $3,500 to $4,000 is about where I would like to see it. Sometimes I see it really high, so it is something that we can negotiate. If they come in really high with really high closing costs, we can suggest maybe a different lender that has cheaper costs and say we're only going to pay $3,500 to $4,000 in closing costs for this loan, and here's a lender that you can use that is much cheaper. So sometimes buyers will have to change lenders to get cheaper closing costs. Title insurance, this is a fee that the seller pays. This is insuring the title to the property to the new buyer, and this can range between $600 to $3,000 depending on the purchase price. Average would be around $1,200, so do expect to pay that. Most of the time the buyers will ask for extended coverage on the title insurance, and this is coverage that they are asking for to cover basically any unrecorded mechanics liens, any unrecorded items that may pop up later, so it's just extra coverage, and that is $50. So that is another fee that typically the buyers ask that you pay. The title company closing costs, this is the closing service fee is split 50-50 between the buyer and seller in most cases. It is up to negotiation, and your portion is going to be approximately $150. There's property taxes. Property taxes must be paid up until closing, and right now property taxes are paid in arrears through the county assessor's office. So that'll need to be paid up until the day of closing. So you're probably going to end up paying between $600 to $800 or more, depending on how much your taxes are yearly and what time of the year you're selling the property. Now, do expect to get a refund, though, from your mortgage company because you do have that escrow account. So do expect a refund for your escrow account as well. Depending on when they've paid their escrows out, it could be anywhere from a couple of dollars to $2,000 for the escrow account, depending on how much is in there. HOA dues and transfer fees. So the HOA dues will need to be paid up until closing, and if you've already paid for the month, and let's say we're closing on the 15th, that will be prorated and you probably will get a credit back. Transfer fees, the title company will have to order a status update letter, which basically says this is how much is owed, this is what needs to be collected at closing, or it's going to say you're all current, nothing needs to be collected at closing. But this status update letter could cost money depending on the HOA, as well as a transfer fee to transfer to the new buyer. So it could range anywhere from nothing to $600 depending on the HOA company. Sometimes the buyers who are purchasing your property may want a home warranty, and the home warranty can range between $300 to $400. If you have any judgments or liens against you, those will most likely be attached to the property, and that will need to be paid at closing. They're going to expect to see a HUD with these judgments, and if they see that you're making money, they're not going to be negotiable. You're going to have to pay those in full. But if it's a short sale and it's showing that you're not making any money, then they're more willing to release those judgments for a couple $100 to $1,000, depending on how much is on there. Water will need to be paid full at closing. If you have Colorado Springs utilities, they don't collect for those at closing, but other water districts do, like Fountain Utilities and Cherokee Water District. those will need to be paid up until the day of closing. So the title company will request a current status letter from the water company. It may be short. They're basically going to take an estimate because they're not going to get a final read until after you've moved out. So it is going to be an estimate. You may get a refund. You may have to owe some money still. It just depends on how much they put on there. Real estate commissions is about 6%, and 3% goes to the buyer's agent and 3% goes to the listing agent. There are repairs that are potential that you have to make. So just getting the home into list ready condition, those repairs are out of pocket. And then the buyers may be doing an inspection and the inspector may find things that need to be fixed. So those items will need to be repaired. So on average it costs about 10% to sell your house, and that's with all those fees that I just listed.